A new wave has formed for Season 2, an epic tour that ends with a new legacy. The OGs are back, ready to defend their legacy, while fresh meat joins the competition, eager to make their mark. Who is willing to battle door-to-door and conquer 2024? Buckle up, because the season of a lifetime is among us.
Here we go. Who's going to get the better restart?
Steve, look at all this action as we come on lap 100.
Oh, second. We're going to go around. This could be the big one.
Hey, four wide in Texas. Todd falls back.
It's been the Zach Millett show so far this season, with car 31 topping the standings by a wide margin. Yet again, the 31 car is fast, but Iowa presents a unique opportunity to unseat this season's points leader and try to get a new car in victory lane. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Newton, Iowa. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. I can't even say my last name today. Andrew Cardinale IV. There we go. With Scott Shive alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the No Limit Racing Sim Rap Market Series. Tonight's coverage from Iowa is brought to you by Sim Rap Market, by No Limit Racing, by all series partners, and boy, we're excited to be here, that's for sure. Iowa Speedway race number 6, the Corn Cob 300, as Brandon Fronapple wanted to call it this evening. It's a unique name for sure. 195 laps here at the Iowa Speedway. I'm just excited to be back at the racetrack, virtually anyways, with this Sim Rap Market Series. And Scott, this is going to be a unique challenge for these drivers. Iowa Speedway, of course, became a Cup track as of 2024. So technically, this is a now Cup race. It's so strange to me still that Iowa Speedway is a NASCAR Cup Series track. It hasn't been for all of its history until this year in 2024. It's still just so strange to me, but so cool at the same time.
It presents its unique challenges because of its complete uniqueness. This is a 0.875 mile track, so just not under 1 mile, so technically a short track, over half a mile, opened in 2006, so it hasn't been here for too long. Pit speed is 40 miles per hour. It's a difficult pit road to get onto tonight, so these drivers are going to have to watch out for that under green. It was built in 2005 and designed by Rusty Wallace, so Iowa Speedway plays host to IndyCar and now NASCAR events, like you said, so it's a great track. It's a difficult one to drive here, and these drivers have their work cut out for them tonight, Andrew.
That they do. We'll take a look at the point standings this evening coming into this evening's race anyways. And the big note is Zach Millett up top by nearly 200 markers. That is just an insane number already this season. 900 points just about accumulated by the 31 car, and he's 200 ahead of the next driver, Nathan Paris. Then Sean Bounty, 240 back, and Matthew Taylor, 268 back. They have stayed up top in those top 4 positions from last week at Charlotte. It's crazy. They don't necessarily always have the greatest days. They just have consistent results and stay up front, and that's what matters in a season like this, where we're taking the top 12 and putting them into a series playoff for the championship.
Top 4 have been really solid. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. You and me were talking about it pre-race about every week we talk about big movers up and down these charts. You see Adam Benefiel, winner last week in Charlotte, moves from 23rd in the standings all the way to 11th this week. On the flip side of that, we got Ryan Dingler, currently sitting 24th. Last week, he was 14th. Then we've got guys like Andy Mendenhall. Last week, they were 8th. Now they're 15th. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but Michael Matta, he's up 6th. So, guys are moving all around the boards. Brandon Fronapple's up as well.
A lot of changes throughout the entirety of the point standings aside from that top 4. Jeremy Brown bumps back up to 5th spot, Dalton Tucker into 6th. Quentin Lee, Daniel Wiles have also been strong. I would say Michael Moultrie is one to watch this evening. Gary Bowman could be as well. But Adam Benefiel, we'll see what he can do this evening. I feel like the season so far feels like we just saw our last week. We saw our top 2 drivers of the series go at it for a win, Zach Millett and Adam Benefiel. I feel like those two are going to be fighting this thing out for a championship, but there's just so much time and so much left to change before we get down to it. Qualifying underway, let's get to race cars on the racetrack. Kevin West fastest so far, and we'll take a look at all of these times flowing in on the left side of your screen. So far, Kevin West fastest at a 24:34.
Yeah, I think in practice, the fastest was a 24.2, a route around that range. So Kevin West, like you said, currently fastest. I believe Zach Millett had put down that fastest time. Who is truly surprised? Looking along here with that 75 of Nathan Paris. Like you said, sitting in the standings second. 64 car here. Russell Black doing fairly well, having his go out here at Iowa. His best right now is a 24.5. Puts him near the mid-pack right now, currently sitting 10th. And he'll go for his second lap here, trying to improve that time.
That actually was lap 2 for Russell Black, so he will solidify in 10th so far, now 11th as Brad Peters bumps him down. Brad Peters, a new driver here from Elite Motorsports. He will join their ranks, and he qualifies 8th so far. We'll see how that holds up as more cars are on the racetrack. Alfie Sharon Jr., one of them.
Yeah, Alfie Sharon, he had some difficulty last week. He was running in the top 10, had some scuffles back there, and put down a great time here. Not amazing, but what he would have wanted here, starting from where he was, that 99 car, Alfie Sharon Jr., wanting better here out of this week from where he was last week at Charlotte. 89 of Ian Brassfield last week was running in top 5, crashed out in the middle of the race.
Ian Brassfield had a lot of problems last week at Charlotte, but an opportunity to rebound this evening. In qualifying, we'll bump up to the 13th position so far, so one to watch potentially as this evening progresses. Zach Millett's about to hit the racetrack. Dalton Tucker's on the racetrack for lap number 1. Austin McColgan's on the racetrack, and Adam Benefiel is hitting the racetrack in that Team Conti Sim Performance number 83. Loose off of turn 4. That's going to throw lap 1 away.
Man, absolutely trying to get all he can right there out of lap number 1, warming up those tires, trying to get it to go. He's going to have he had to slow down the straightaway, so he might use this one as just kind of a pass up, a warm-up lap to continue to warm his tires. He'll run the top, try to gain that extra speed, and really go all out for it here on this second lap. Again, like we said, he got loose out of turn 4 there on the warm-up lap, so that's a 25.0 right now. He's not going to love that time. It's going to be all the way in the back of the pack here. Wrapping the bottom of 1 and 2, wrapping that line. Really difficult here, Andrew, because the bottom of 1 and 2 is so difficult because of how bumpy it is. But Benefiel able to handle it, able to hold it here down in the bottom 3 and 4 through the Geico restart zone, trying to improve his time. Hopefully in the 24s. He'll put it in the 24s. 24.39 puts him 6th.
Now Zach Millett up on the racetrack, gonna try and get a lap in. Looks like just 1 lap will count. Next lap may not, and that is good enough for 4th place so far for Zach Millett. So if that's all that counts, I don't think he'll be sad at all. We'll see if he can get lap 2 in here, but it's gonna be close.
Man, the top 10 are separated only by 1/10 of a second. So it's extremely close here in this battle to be in the top 10. Zach Millett absolutely pushing it off the corner, and there wasn't enough time for him to get around to that second lap, and that is going to have to do it. He'll settle in 4th.
Well, here we go. 195 laps. Let's take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details coming into this evening. 195 lap race, 5 change sets of tires, so 6 total. At least that's, well, right? Let me double check that. 5 sets is what we were told. That could be 4 change sets, but we're going off of 5 change sets. We'll see. We'll find out one way or the other. I think
these guys might use their
double
tires.
check it.
These guys might use their tires. Yep.
But 65% fuel load means about 75 to 78 laps per run. Fixed setups, no fast fix, and 3 green-white checkers available should we need them. Let's hope we don't. That's, I mean, it's exciting, but we never want to see that many crashes towards the end of a race. That kind of takes the wind out of the sails. But they're there if we need them. Regardless, let's take a look across our starting grid. You see them lining up there in pit road. Let's go through our 37 starters this evening. On pole, it is a surprise, I'd say, Kevin West in car 01. Very fast this evening. Trailer Park Dude, as he's known on TikTok. Very quick. We'll be watching car 01 from the start. Dalton Tucker will start 2nd. Starting 3rd and 4th, we'll find Nathan Paris and Zach Millett, top 2 in the standings. Starting 5th place, Michael Moultrie, who's top 10, I believe, in the standings, or top 12 at the very least. He's up there. Quentin Lee in the top 10 of the standings. He will start 6th. Adam Benefiel will start from 7th. Joseph Tucker from 8th. Starting 9th and 10th, you'll find Daniel Wiles and Brandon Frohnapple.
Well, then back there in 11th, that's the 44 of Matthew Taylor, sitting 4th in points right now. Then that's a 12th position. That's the 5 of Brad Peters, new tonight here for this race. The 51 of Austin McColgan sits there in 13th. On his outside, that's the 58 of Richard Lanning. Jared Bouchon had some trouble last week at Charlotte. We'll hope to clean that up today here at Iowa, sitting 15th. 16th, that's the 92 of Edward Jurgen. Ian Brassfield fielded up In 17th, in that 89 car, in that pink, yellow, and blue machine. In 18th, that's Russell Black. 19th, Dylan Cardenas. And the 24 of Sean Lodison rounds out the 20th car.
Starting 21st position this evening in what's now a 175-lap race will be Alfie Sharon Jr. alongside Brian Ruisi there on the 11th row. Starting 23rd, it'll be Andon Mendenhall in the 37 car. Starting 24th, it's Christian Light in the 96 car. Starting 25th place, it'll be Brady Cox in the 76 with Colin Terrell alongside from Panto Racing Club. Starting 27th, rather, it's Jeremy Brown alongside Matt Lovett. Starting 19th and... Man, I'm all over the place. 29th and 30th. There we go. Cullen Johnston and Matthew Montgomery.
Christopher Tate is in that 48 car. 31st tonight. 32nd is the 05 of Noah Rainwater. Newcomer Lucas Whitehead in the 53 car grids up 33rd. Matt Sherry had some trouble in qualifying. The 45 car puts it in 34th. Cody Ellis in that number 4 is in 35th. Christopher Cash in the 74 will round 36th. And the last car in the field tonight, that will be the 37th car, the 28 of Casey Knighton. And obviously, Race Control will not be racing here tonight.
37 cars in all in what is now a 175-lap race. That takes the pressure off these guys a little bit anyways. 175 as opposed to 195 laps. A small change, but worth noting. And we're about to turn them loose through Iowa turns 3 and 4. We're going to turn them loose out of the Geico restart zone. The iRacing.com safety truck will pull down to the relative safety of pit lane. Not yet. Okay, so an extra pace lap. You know, I don't mind this. It's a surprise, though, when it happens.
Yeah, no.
You know, it gives us a chance to kind of breathe a little bit before we go racing. But a surprise here, nonetheless. I believe iRacing safety car lights have been shut off there, so we should get the 1 green signal and be racing the next time by.
Yeah, it's almost like 2 weeks ago at the championship race when the pace car had an incident getting onto pit road and all the guys weren't sure if they were going green or going for another lap or not. So we'll go here. But I wanted to talk about it real quick. Kevin West, strong last week, was running top 5 early on in the race, disconnects, puts it on pole here today. The trailer park dude trying to make it happen here and make up for some of those lost points last week.
We'll see what car 01 has for us this evening. He'll be leading the field out of turn number 4 this time by. Out of the 4th corner, the iRacing.com official pace truck will dive down to the relative safety of pit lane and we'll get this race started. Out of the Geico restart zone, we are green flag for 175 in Iowa. And down the backstretch for the first time, Nathan Paris and Zach Millett run side by side for 3rd and 4th. The top 2 get single file. Everybody else spread out across this racetrack.
Millett trying to run that high line, gets great momentum out of turn 4, crossing in front of Nathan Paris, then down on the inside, trying to dive the inside of 2nd position, Dalton Tucker. There's so many different lines you can run here in this race tonight. Oh, caution's out.
Caution early. It's going to be Christopher Cash in the 74 car. And already that 74 has got a lot of front end damage.
Yeah, it doesn't look too great there for that 74 car. We'll have to take a look back at what happened. 9 cars seem to have been involved as well.
We got through 1 lap okay. The 2nd lap, not so easily. Matthew Montgomery and Christopher Cashier into turn number 1. Oh, Montgomery got into the 13 of Johnston, and Cash was just a bystander trying to miss it all that ended up crashing into the outside wall rather hard.
Yeah, Cash, you know, we saw him have trouble last week as well. Able to rebound fine, but obviously he would have wanted to avoid those incidents. As you'll see, he was just involved in somebody else's. So Cash not really causing it there, just got swept up in it really. Some heavy damage.
Here's the onboard from the number 9. Matthew Montgomery was just looking middle and got into the 13 car, locked it down, and pounded the outside wall. Cullen Johnston gets away okay in all of this, I'd say.
Yeah, Cash really got the worst of it there. That's going to be a long time on pit road for him. Looking along with that 13 car of Johnston. Yeah, Matthew just going for the move there. Just gives him a little tag. Great save by the 13 there of Johnston.
There was a problem for one other car just ahead. It was the 50 of Brian Ruisi. Looked like he got up into the outside wall here in turns 1 and 2. Whoa, oh man, somebody dove in and got him. That was the 76 car. And the 76 belongs to Brady Cox.
Yeah, that's some big damage.
There's a look at the Brady Cox machine. Newcomer here to the series. At least newcomer this season. Haven't seen him yet.
Oh, who's got the Bud car?
That'd be Andon Mendenhall.
Oh, the 37. Bring it out. Oh, Dale Jr.'s running that this weekend at the South Carolina 400. That's going to be a great race. I was listening to Dale Jr. download. 56 cars have already entered the race, and only 36 are going to make it. So, and I think there's a few more people that are going to file an entry. So, the Bud car might be on track this weekend. It might not, but I'd want to be at that race if I were someone near the South Carolina 400.
Well, Kevin West will continue to lead this race as we got one lap complete under green. Of course, caution laps do count, but that slows these guys down awfully quickly. What we saw in that opening lap and a quarter, if you will, almost lap and a half, was the top two get single file quickly. Third and fourth battle, Zach Millett and Nathan Paris were side by side there. Do we think Zach Millett can get to the lead here early? That's my question.
Well, we saw him. He started fourth, and he had a great run on the outside. Nathan Paris in that 75 car passed him down the straightaway, was on the inside of Dalton Tucker through 1 and 2 right when the caution came out. I think Tucker would have had it on the exit of 2, but I think very quickly he could have worked around the 21 car. I think we just know Zach Millett has such speed. I'd really love to see if long run speed, short run speed, what's really going to work out today. This track is also, it's not crazy abrasive, but you don't want to abuse your tires at all. We know Millett is good at saving. I think that's going to be a key factor in today of how much stuff you have left at the end of a run.
Field will double up and get ready to go back racing this time by. Let's take a look real quick at the season schedule here for 2024, season number 2. Atlanta is next up. You see this race was initially advertised at 195 laps, cut down to 175. Last week's race initially advertised at 260, was cut down to 200. Have to wonder if maybe there's a similar move coming ahead for Atlanta in a couple of weeks' time. Atlanta's the next race after this evening on December 4th. So no more races in the month of November. We're taking next week off for Thanksgiving. And then 3 races in December, Atlanta, New Hampshire, and Indianapolis before 2024 comes to a close and we go racing in 2025. Out of the Geico restart zone this time by, here we go. Trailer Park Dude, Kevin West, back on the loud pedal and green flag at Iowa. Iowa, a track known for the top side of the racetrack where everybody wants to be, we thought. So far, everybody wants to be down low, clamoring for that very bottom line. I'm surprised.
I mean, if you can run it, I mean, it is a fast line. It's just a lot of people don't like to go there because of how bumpy it is, especially in 1 and 2. It's so easy to make a mistake, but if you can make it work, I mean, you really want to be down there. Michael Moultrie trying to make a move here on Nathan Paris, but now they're about to go 3 wide. Joseph Tucker's right there on the outside trying to make it work.
Joseph Tucker, Michael Moultrie side by side. Moultrie relents for now as Kevin West goes fastest, showing his pace early here at 24.460. And he pulls away from Zach Millett, who's now into second place squarely out ahead of that 21 of Dalton Tucker. Nathan Paris sits in fourth. He comes under fire now from Joseph Tucker.
Tucker in a new scheme this week. I love to see it when these drivers have awesome, cool paint schemes. It's a little hard sometimes, but Tucker really has a genuine, a general color scheme of usually he has pink and blue in there, so I can normally find him on track. But wow, lots of different lines here. Nathan Paris right on the back bumper of that 21 car, and Joseph Tucker right behind him in that 39.
So early, these guys settling in. You mentioned a lot of lines. Mostly everybody, though, trying to get around the bottom side of the racetrack right now. If we dive deep in the field and just take a couple of onboards, you might see some drivers go high up the racetrack. But so far, everybody, aside from a few stragglers back here, wanting to go down low as far as they can, which still just surprises me as one car's got trouble on the inside of the racetrack. Richard Lanning through the grass. Gonna hang on to the car, but go for a trip.
He's kept it straight, rejoined the track, no one's behind him. I don't know how he got off there. I imagine he got loose on the exit of turn 4, wasn't quite able to save it, had to chase it down to the grass, but was able to keep it straight through there. Trouble for him early, started up in the top 15. Ian Brassfield here, making a move on Edward Jurgen. Edward Jurgen also started within the top 20. Again, we've seen, I've just felt bad for Edward in the past few weeks. He just seems like he can't avoid the trouble. He's fine today. Now Russell Black trying to work to the inside. Really seeing these two lines really develop. Now Lodison's in there. Oh, a contact with Jurgen. He's down the track, saves it barely.
Alvin Sharon Jr. really had to check up for that 24 car not to run into him. That brings the 99 car back as well, but the 24 and 99 keep it rolling straight. They just fall back some positions. Lodison into 22nd, Sharon Jr. into 24th. You see Noah Rainwater there on the outside of the racetrack, one of the few pioneers up top. Just the run now comes down low a little bit, and he'll try the bottom side of Brady Cox here into turn 1. So just as soon as I call him out for running up high, he goes right to the bottom of the racetrack and tries the bottom side, and let's see if it works out for him.
Got to follow the momentum where it leads you. Rainwater in the 05 car, that yellow, bright yellow car on the bottom there of newcomer Brady Cox. Getting close there out of turn 4. Bottom really not working for the 05. Isn't able to gain position here. He'll try to dive it down into turn 1. Gain that on entry. But Cox is going to have it here on exit.
Christian Light behind these guys makes a move on Matt Cherry. A lot of great racing in the middle of the field here. See from the static camera just how spread out these guys have gotten in the opening 20 laps of this race and how spread out they go through the corner. 2, 3, I wouldn't say 4 wide, but it's okay. If it was an interstate, it'd be 4 wide. And I'll tell you why. Because they're spread out across about 4 lanes of the racetrack. They're using 4 different lanes, if that makes sense. I don't think it made sense.
A lot of different grooves that you can run that work here at this track. A lot of the guys up front still running the bottom. Oh, someone's up high there, has some trouble in turn 3 and 4.
I think that's Cash. I got excited. I thought somebody was trying the top side up front, but it's Christopher Cash.
Okay, he's on a lap down. Had big damage earlier. It was a car that hammered the inside wall on our first caution there. Daniel Wiles and back in that awesome paint scheme from Semrat Market in that number 3 car. Again, 74 is not on the lead lap, so this is not a battle for position. But we talked about it. These lines are going to develop throughout this race, and it will become more and more dynamic. And it'll become what line is better at what time. Are they both equal? Who can run better? There's so many questions that these drivers are going to have to answer to find out who can best work this track.
On board with Christopher Cash as he goes further behind some of these lead lap cars. Daniel Wiles trying to get ahead of him and will finally pull a slide job off there and get ahead of this 74 car. Now it'll be the 30 of Fronapple who tries to get by. And Cash is just trying to salvage his own race, trying to stay in this thing as best as he can. He's already 4 laps down, so not in a great spot. Out front,
Richard Lanning is now disconnected. So he's in the back, but you were talking about who's out front.
I've got Richard Lanning on the racetrack.
Really? Then my charts must be incorrect. I do too. I don't know why mine says that. It just updated. Disregard.
Well, out front, it has been all Kevin West so far this evening. Out front by 6/10. Zach Millett there in second spot. Dalton Tucker in third. Joseph Tucker in fourth. And Joseph Tucker starting to work a little bit high up the racetrack. I like that.
He got a little bit of the wall there earlier after he made the pass on the 75 car, but right behind him, that's Nathan Paris, Michael Moultrie, and Adam Benefiel. Benefiel, right where he started, but he's gained a little bit on the back of Moultrie, trying to make it work. But Joseph Tucker has some good speed out here today.
Side by side out front is the 74 and 30 cars. The 74 is still 4 laps down actually. The 30 trying to go by him. Here we go. There's the side by side. Benefiel and Moultrie. That just pumped up that lap.
Yeah,
Benefiel powers to the inside.
He's just running. He's just a little less than a tenth faster than Moultrie here, but he has been slowly gaining over these past few laps. Again, we talked about the top has great momentum here at Iowa. It's one of, I don't want to say dominant lines, but a lot of guys, like we said, like to run it prior to what we've been seeing. I mean, we've seen a lot of guys on the bottom. Some guys able to work it, some guys not. Benefiel trying to clear for that position. Isn't quite able to do it. Again, still wrapping that yellow line. Caution is out.
Matt Cherry spinning across the front stretch, and others, it seems, involved, or at least trying to miss it.
Man, he was doing great working through the field. He was up 8 positions from where he had started up in the back.
Racing here with Brady Cox in the 53 of, who is that? That is a new driver.
That's Brady Cox. Well, no, that was the 53. I think that's, yeah, that was Brady Cox, was it not?
Cox is in the 76. The 53 is, hang on.
Lucas Whitehead.
Yep. They just squeezed together off of turn 4.
Yep.
Show this one again here off the corner. Cox up top, Cherry in the middle, and here's Whitehead off the bottom of the racetrack, just comes up and gets into the 45 and sends that MPI machine for a spin.
Yeah, I did not know they were 3 wide. Whitehead tried to come up a little bit farther than he had. Didn't know they were 3 wide. Got into the 45 of Cherry. Meanwhile, pit stops are taking place. Taking a look back. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your replay because that was a little bit of action there. 48 car still out on track right now. He'll stay out. Kevin West into his box. Tucker. West has been doing really well. Led every lap so far. Had a solid lead on, on Zach Millett.
Matt Taylor going to get out ahead, and oh my gosh, look at all the cars rushing off a pit
Whoa.
lane. Kevin West will still lead them off just ahead of Dalton Tucker. Then it's Matthew Taylor with a potentially no tire pit stop.
Looks like fuel only. Jared Wishon, fuel only as well.
So a handful of cars opting to go for fuel only here on their first stop. Matthew Taylor, one of them. Jared Wishon, another. It's going to put these guys in... Oh, man, we got a smoke show on the front stretch. They put these guys in some interesting situations. There's Andon Mendenhall going to the rear of the field. It seems like there might have been a penalty. Christian Light now into his box a little bit late, and oh, man, that's a lot of damage.
Oh, my goodness. Where did that come from? That had to have happened after the caution. Because Light was near that incident, but he wasn't involved.
He's getting it repaired as quick as the crew can work on it. And I'll pull down and away. There's Cullen Johnston in the 13. 2 cars stay out under this yellow. One of them, Christopher Tate. The other, Noah Rainwater. These 2 drivers trying to save some fuel, maybe stay out and run their own race, their own strategy. So we're going to have a wide variety of different strategies, different tire calls, different fuel calls.
I've got some news about where that might have come from Christian Light. Brady S. Cox, driver removed from the server. 76 DQ'd for wrecking under caution.
Oh, no. And was that perhaps the smoke we saw?
I want to say. Wow, newcomer here tonight. That's some. What? I used to work with this guy, Jake Reeves, and he would say, "That's beef."
Oh, yeah.
Goodness.
That is a...
Must have had some contact on track, and I guess Cox was not too happy about whatever happened beforehand.
Yeah, but this is just not how you handle the situation.
No, definitely not. It's really not.
I don't know if that was... I'm assuming that was intentional.
Yeah, it looked pretty deliberate.
The only saving grace to Cox's argument is that maybe he was just trying to accelerate and not potentially run into the 96 car. But this... I don't know if he just wasn't paying attention or if that was intentional. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, it doesn't look good.
And either way, he's now out of the race, leading us to a shady restart here. There's been some cloud cover popping up over the racetrack now. Going to put these guys in a little bit of darkness. Weather conditions, 81 degrees in the air, 104 on track, partly cloudy. We got one of those partly clouds. Green flag back in the air. Rainwater all the way up the racetrack, rim riding through 1 and 2, trying to get the run down the backstretch and hang on to a few spots on this restart. I think he understands where he's at in this situation, doesn't want to hold anybody up, just wants to do his own thing, right? Understands he's got old tires, less fuel, on his own strategy, just trying to stay out of the way.
Yeah, and I'm interested by the call because he was running within the top 20, so I'm really surprised that he stayed out because, again, if we go for a long green flag run here, this could net out to where he loses more positions than he would have gained having come into the pits. But like you said, knows where he's at, knows he's on roller tires, staying up top and just trying to hold on the best he can. Meanwhile, Christopher Tate now being overtaken for the race lead by previous leader Kevin West.
I see what confused you. He's got Cash on the side of his car, but his name is Christopher Tate. We've got a Christopher Cash in the race. Yeah, that's a little bit confusing there with the 48 and 74, but Christopher Tate going a couple of spots back now as the drivers on new tires start to put those new Goodyear Eagles to use.
And right now, Tate currently running a 24. It says that's Joseph Tucker, not Tate. Tate is running a 24.9. Meanwhile, all of your guys on fresh tires are running 24.5s and 24.4s. So 4/10 off the lead.
You see race leaders right to the bottom of the racetrack, hogging that yellow line as best as they can. Tucker, though, Dalton Tucker now ahead of Zach Millett. That's the biggest piece of news on this run. Daniel Wiles goes out to the middle part of the racetrack as he is under fire from Nathan Paris, and Brad Peters is pulling up in this battle.
Yeah, Brad Peters right there pulling up as well, trying to get a piece of this action in that number 5 car. Started in the 12th position. He's up now 4 from the start. Looking along here from that NOS camera on the roof cam behind, looking at Nathan Paris right ahead. And again, That's Daniel Wiles in front of him. Paris back a few positions, had a little bit of a slower pit stop than the rest. But interesting to see, car in the wall up in turn 1. It's a 51 of Austin McColgan.
McColgan hangs on, gets back in line right behind Adam Benefield, last week's winner at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And now the side-by-side falls back to Christopher Tate and Ian Brasfield, and that 48 continues to sink through the field. Here comes Edward Jurgen, Jeremy Brown, and Sean Lodison.
Yeah, Rainwater already back to 16th. And like you said there, Christopher Tate now falling into 14th. So shows you that old tires will not work, not even for a little bit.
But they're on their own strategy. They're trying to save a set of tires and try to get this fuel to stretch out as far as they can. I'm sure they're trying to hit about lap 90 or so.
Yeah, with the 2 cautions, I think that's pretty doable. They better hope, at least, that they might have a caution later on, because you will lose a lap here coming into the pits.
Rainwater falls back even more, and there's some side-by-side racing behind these guys. Quentin Lee, Matthew Taylor side-by-side down the front stretch. And one car is slowed down low. Who is that? That is Brown. Jeremy Brown, a little bit slow off the pace.
Yeah, interesting to see him off the pace there. Falls behind Andy Mendenhall, who started from the back on this run. Not sure the reason of that. Another driver I'm interested in, the 44. We saw him earlier. It looked like he took fuel only. I imagine he came back in the pits to get tires, because he's keeping pace right now, running 24.4s. So I imagine he maybe thought fuel only wasn't going to work.
He may have just taken an EOL or something like that, or just fell that far back on the restart. I don't know, because
he's running lap time that he could not run with old tires.
He's only got 1 pit stop based on ATVO's timing and scoring.
Really?
Only 1 pit stop.
He could not be running. Oh wait, he's running 25.4s, not 24.4s.
There you go. I was gonna say, I hear what you're saying, but he only shows 1 pit stop so far.
Yeah.
Unless something is wrong on timing and scoring's end,
it's been a long day for commentator Scott.
Don't worry, I was on a whole tangent with interstates and 4 wide just about 20 laps ago, but out front, single file for our leaders, at least the top 5 or so.
They're loving the bottom.
Whoa, Joseph Tucker, hang on to it.
Goodness, 39 car. One of his first incidents of the day there, fighting to keep in front of Moultrie there. He'll fall behind him now here into 5th. But Joseph Tucker in that 39 has had good pace. He's good speed. He's able to get around Nathan Paris earlier, was able to work around Michael Moultrie, and he was working on Zach Millett there for the past few laps.
I like that he's willing to use the racetrack. He just got a big run there on Moultrie by using the top side on entry and arcing down low on exit. And he's one of the few leaders I see using the racetrack like that. Everybody just holding way down low. See, he's going to do it here again. Going to enter a little bit higher and arc down on exit and try to get a run off the corner. It didn't work as well that time. Actually, no, it does. Look at this massive run he gets.
Yeah, that's just using this track. The bottom will continue to rubber up. It won't be as viable as it is earlier in this race now. Try to use the bottom here. Moultrie goes a little bit higher there to get some exit speed out of turn 2. Tucker again goes to the top, but Moultrie follows. Now he arcs it down low like you were talking about. Still gets a good run here, but he's not going to have enough sideways out of 4.
Laps going off 1 by 1, nearly 50 laps through this 175-lap race. Let's try out the fan cam here, Iowa Speedway, and just sit back and enjoy some of the views. Lap traffic ahead of the leaders now. That's going to be Matthew Montgomery And it looks like Christopher Cash in the 74. Still soaking in those fan cams. And, you know, I've never been to Iowa Speedway, but I certainly wouldn't mind after watching from some of these fan perspectives. Certainly would be cool to go.
I haven't been either, but it does look awesome from all these awesome areas that they have on track. Kevin West breezes past the number 9 car of Matthew Montgomery there. Montgomery involved in an incident earlier as well as Cash. Dalton Tucker goes by now on the inside.
Montgomery nursing that right front damage, trying to just get through this race, having a very off day for sure. Into the top 24 in standings. So he's on the points graphic, but tonight has gone absolutely the wrong way. Yeah, not the look that you'd want here from Iowa. Gonna have to try to find a way to rebound from it. But we've only got 6 races after this. After this race is complete, Andrew, we've got half the regular season left, and we'll now be a third of the way through this season 2. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible how quickly this season is rolling on by. Here's Joseph Tucker on Michael Moultrie. Tucker to the inside, Moultrie running the outside lane. Side by side of the 39 and 29 cars, and they will stay side by side down the backstretch. Tucker on the offensive, Moultrie on the defensive, and Daniel Wiles sits right behind, just wondering if he can try and get by.
Shows you here how after everything gets spread out, even if you're faster, it is still so difficult to get by somebody because of these differing lines here at Iowa. Again, we've seen the bottom work all race long here in these first 55 laps for the leaders, but again, you can get such great momentum off the top. And now these two, oh, there we go, Tucker to the outside now, trying to wrap some momentum out of turn 4. He'll bring it side by side, he'll nose ahead here. This might be the pass, the look he was looking for moving into 4th. Moultrie on the bottom of the 29 car, but won't have enough. Tucker finally back into 4th where he was earlier.
Finally back into 4th, but a little ways off the leaders now as there comes Adam Benefiel surging ahead on the bottom side of the racetrack. Gets to the inside of Michael Moultrie. Moultrie tags the outside wall, and Benefiel is in position to try and take 5th away.
Talked to Benefiel last week. He said he was excited about here to this trip at Iowa, a track that he felt confident in, and now working on the inside of that 29 car. Daniel Wiles behind him looking for an opening. But Adam Benefiel in the 83 car looking strong here today as well. He's going to have to get by that 39 car if he wants to go fight for this lead.
It's by Moultrie, got by Wiles a little bit earlier. Now Nathan Paris looks up at that opportunity to go by a couple of cars and wonders if he can do the same. Nathan Paris, second in the standings. He needs to come alive a little bit more. He's been really good this season, I will say. So, take it with a grain of salt maybe, but if he wants to challenge for the points lead and try and unseat the 31 car, he's got to come alive just that little bit extra, just that little bit more, and find some way to get up to that 31 on the racetrack and not just rely on whatever happens to everybody else. He's got to. I see so many drivers kind of have this kind of season, right? They end up benefiting from everybody else having mistakes and just staying consistent, and that works to a point. But oftentimes, that kind of driver ends up coming up just a little bit short because they're missing that X factor, if you will. Just whatever makes the other driver that they're racing just that little bit better and able to close those races. I'm talking Zach Millett in this case. You got to find that little bit extra. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to find it. That's why I'm a broadcaster. But for the race car driver, he's got to find that little bit extra. I'm saying Nathan Paris is close. He's just not quite close enough to that 31 of Millett if he wants to get the points lead and fight for the championship.
Yeah, you used the word consistency. Paris has been extremely consistent here this season, but looking for that X factor, the finisher, like Zach Millett has been able to do. Adam Benefiel now finally making the pass there on the 39 car. They had a little scuffle a moment ago. The 39 car came down in turn 4, got the 83 a little bit sideways, but again, 83 extremely fast, now past the 39. Michael Moultrie on the pit road.
Yeah,
Seems
Moultrie pitting here. This does seem early. I wonder if this is trying to flip the race around and play it in reverse.
Yeah, if he pits here, I think he can pretty much guarantee only one more pit stop in this race, at least on fuel. I think if we get any cautions after we go 15 or more laps on a run, you're going to pit for tires if you have them.
Almost side by side here, and Dalton Tucker's going to get held up. That might make them side by side. Zach Millett on the inside of Dalton Tucker going for the second spot, and he is going to have it through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, great. Easy move there. Tucker held up by a lap car and made the pass pretty easy there for the 31 of Millett, who moves up into second, but 1.4 seconds back from the 01 of Kevin West. Dominance tonight is the word for the 01.
Just watching this race unfold. I love sitting back and just watching the lines these guys take, because now that we're into a run, we're seeing more variety, and we can use the static cameras again. And you see Kevin West out ahead by a 1.3 second margin. He's going to keep using the bottom side for sure because he's leading and is working for him. But the rest of these guys, they're trying things. They're moving around. You see Dalton Tucker up to the middle lane of the racetrack now. Joseph Tucker way up high. It's racetracks like these that make me feel so good about what iRacing has done with trying to make racetracks more multi-groove.
Yeah, I love it. I really love this style of racing. Right now, I've got to look again at that 83 car. Fastest on track of any other driver. Just ran a little bit slower, but he's really running 25.4s, 25.5s as fast as Kevin West and Zach Millett. Now working on the inside here of Dalton Tucker. Tucker's going to let him go. Tucker running 25.7s, 25.8s. Knows the 83 is faster. Not going to take any time losing any more ground to that.
And talking about drivers that are consistent, Adam Benefiel has not been, but he's got a race win now. And I feel like he's got that X factor that Zach Millett has. He's got that little bit extra that we're talking about. I really got to feel like if we get down to the chase, the playoffs, and reset him around Zach Millett, if Benefiel can put some races together and keep consistent for those 6 races in the playoffs, he's a surefire lock to be contending for it at the very least. I'm not going to say to win the championship necessarily, but at least to contend for it. He outdrove Zach Millett last week at Charlotte. He's outdriving him, I feel like, now as this run goes on, has been catching up as this run has worn on, has been passing all these race cars when it's hard to pass, and is just looking fantastic as the run goes on.
I love the way you said it. He is the only person that has been able to bring the fight to the dominant driver of Zach Millett. 2 wins on the season, points lead by almost 200 points, and Benefiel was the only one last week to be able to bring the fight to him. Looking fast here now, but again, we've got 106, now 105 laps to go. That's a lot of time for mistakes, but also a lot of times to finish it off. I mean, a lot of time to mess up, but there's also a lot of time to not. I mean, that's the only way I can really put it, and that Benefiel is one of those guys that Millett, we haven't seen make many of almost any mistakes. Benefiel is the only one to bring that fight, and he's made minimal mistakes. So really, if we're looking at these two, it's who is going to dominate about the day, about mistakes.
More pit stops. Dalton Tucker going to head down to pit lane, and this is going to change things up a little bit. This comes with just over 100 laps to go. He's run about 43, so this splits the race up relatively evenly to the end of the race. It'll be longer runs from here on out, but this will give him a short pit on other drivers he's racing. He'll be able to use these tires to his advantage early and try and get some time on those guys.
Yeah, I saw these drivers, currently everyone out that pitted that last time around out on 45 lap old tires. So these drivers, these tires can go. I imagine we'll be able to get to the 50 mark So if we were to go green for the rest of the race, you could absolutely make one more pit stop here and break it in half.
Now out front, we've got Kevin West now painting the outside lane very nicely in pink and blue. He's starting to work around the racetrack and look for a different lane to work for him, and it works on the straightaway because he gets that massive run off the corner, but he's slower in the corners than Zach Millett, and Millett is closing in a hurry. Question is, can Benefield get there on that 31 car before the 31 gets to the race lead, or is it going to be after?
Yeah, West just really, he's been strong, but you can obviously see not enough grip in the center of the corners there, just slower than Millett. Used up his tires a little bit earlier. He's just running 1/10 slower. So Millett has been closing down on the back bumper of Kevin West a little bit at a time. Now has brought it within 4/10, and Benefield right there behind, 5/10 behind Millett.
$100 laps to go. That last time by the flag stand. Now 99 laps to go. Your Iowa Speedway. We're right on board with Adam Benefield. Ethan Paris in the battle with Ian Brasfield. Brasfield has just worked through this field methodically now into the top 5. I really am impressed by the 89 car tonight. I did not expect this as this run went on. And look at that 3 wide back here. That's a little too far back. Hang on. Joseph Tucker. 3 wide. Oh, that's squeezing things. Noah Rainwater, it looks like, on new tires. Christopher Cash on old tires and a lap down. Brad Peters closing in. It's almost like multi-class when these guys get on different tire strategies like this and are on vastly different tire sets. Some very old, some very new. It's almost multi-class racing, and you get those crazy moments sometimes. Meanwhile, 3/10 now the gap between first and second as we see more pit stops happening. There's Matt Cherry in the pit lane.
Yeah, we'll continue to see it as these green flag pit stops continue to commence. It's really easy to get impatient behind someone that's slower than you when you're on such a fresh tire advantage. But if you don't, you make those mistakes. Now, battle for the lead. Zach Millett inside of Kevin West in the 01. 01's going to have a great run out of turn 4, but like we said, doesn't have the grip in the corners that 31 car has, and this is where we'll see the 31 be patient. He knows he's faster and will methodically work up to make that pass.
I gotta say, if you've never tuned into a Trailer Park Dude stream on TikTok, I just pulled it up on my phone. Just to see, just to experience it a little bit while this run goes on. Scott, do you want to know what this guy's wearing?
What is he wearing?
He is fully clad in Dale Earnhardt Sr. gear. Got a Dale Sr. shirt, a Dale Sr. hat. He's got pit vipers on. I think that's a mullet I see.
I gotta pull this up.
Trailer Park Dude on TikTok, you will not be disappointed. And caution!
Oh, caution!
Ian Brasfield in the pit lane. It's not him. It's not Dylan Cardenas. It's not Matt Taylor. Who is it?
Oh my gosh.
Right in the middle of all these pit stops. That's going to change things up.
Yeah, this, hey, if it wasn't confusing before, with some of these pit stops, it's going to be even more confusing now.
Saw some smoke from somebody up here.
This really works out, while we're looking for this, works out for Brasfield.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, what is it? There, oh.
Andon Mendenhall and Jeremy Brown. What a small spin, and that constitutes a yellow somehow.
Yeah. I think that definitely could have stayed green.
Well, this gives us an opportunity for all these guys to come in and pit.
Yeah. All these guys within the top 21 cars have yet to pit. Back there, a lot of these cars that have pitted will stay out. So this really works out for Brasfield, Frohnapple, Jared Bushon, Edward Jurgen. All those guys just pitted one lap before this caution. But now this is going to put all these leaders in the mid-pack. They're going to have to drive completely differently than how they were up front.
But with better tires.
That's true. Not by much. I mean, And some of these drivers, again, Daniel Wiles, Brandon Frohnapple, all these guys, they've got 1 lap on their tires.
Oh, Zach Millett trying to get in the box. That was a really sour entry to the pit box.
I thought I saw that.
That is not going to be good for the 31. Trailer Park dude, Kevin West, gets out just ahead of Adam Benefiel. Zach Millett just went up on the left sides. He is going to be way behind the 8 ball here, getting out of pit lane, right behind Joseph Tucker and ahead of Matt Lovett.
Hey, you know what I didn't account for when I was talking about them being stuck in the mid-pack?
Everybody else coming in and get tires?
Well, everyone else a lap down.
That too, yeah.
Daniel Wiles receiving an EOL.
Uh-oh. Christian Light's going to stay out here. Michael Moultrie also stays out. Moultrie makes sense to have stayed out.
Yeah. Yeah, he pitted, I think it was 15 laps ago. Oh, a little over 20 now. So, might be doing what Noah Rainwater did earlier. And Christian Light, 54 laps on his tires. So they are going to be, at least Christian Light is going to be plummeting through the field off the restart.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's staying out still. I would have expected him to come in and pit. At the same time, he might be trying to get to his mark on fuel, come in one more time. It actually could work out because of where we are in this race.
Green.
Yeah, 90 to go right now. He's got enough fuel to get into the fuel window to the end.
It would work out if it stayed green. Again, the minute you get a pit stop 20 laps after a pit stop, you absolutely should belt on a fresh set if you want to have any track position at all.
It won't be a race-winning strategy, but it might be better than where he was.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, after that damage, that contact with Brady Cox, he really has nothing to lose.
Now, for those guys that were coming in under green flag, to recap some of it, we saw Moultrie, of course, come in. Well, he actually comes in during this yellow, or is he going to the rear? He's going to the rear, it looks like.
Interesting.
Was he the lucky dog, maybe?
Maybe. Yeah, had to have been. Because now that I think about it, he would have had fresher tires, but I don't think he could have worked all the way up. Because we didn't see him go by Kevin West or Zach Millett. We would have seen him. So, yeah, he must have been the lucky dog.
Well, just about everybody else comes in. Dalton Tucker stays out to try and get the wave by, and he will get it. But this puts Dalton Tucker in a really bad spot. That caution was very poorly timed. The 21 car.
Stuck back now in 20 seconds. So he was probably one of the worst on the receiving end of this caution. Benefiel, one of the best. Obviously, Christian Light on those extremely old tires. I don't even know if I'm going to count him. He's in the lead, but I think he'll be out of the lead by turn 1. So Benefiel really benefiting from this. And Zach Millett, one of the other losers, back in 7th, rolled through his box too far.
Well, but is Christian Light going to hang on to the bottom side, and how is that going to impact everybody else trying to go by?
I don't know. I just know that I
out.
wouldn't want to be lined up on the bottom.
Pace truck will stay on the racetrack here to allow the wave rounds to catch up and line up at the back end of the field. I like that. It's okay to burn one more lap.
Yeah, I would not want to be behind Christian Light here.
Well, let's take a look at what's upcoming for us at Pit Stop TV these next few days. Next few broadcasts, anyway. Next up, tomorrow night, it's the Fall Brawl for the 1-8 Racing Media National Tour in the Sim Auto Racing Association, otherwise known as SARA. We're at Five Flags Speedway for 250 laps, a winter derby of sorts, but it's the Fall Brawl, so a fall derby potentially, but regardless. It'll be a whole lot of fun. Super late models, Five Flags Speedway, a combination that has been known to work. Going to be fun to watch. Make sure you're there tomorrow night. Then Tuesday, December 3rd, we go racing once again with the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. It's the first time in a while for them. They raced last night at Phoenix, but we had other coverage. So We'll be rejoining them at Dover here shortly. Then we go back racing at Atlanta on December 4th. Green flag back in the air. Let's see how this works out for Christian Light. And immediately the 96 misses the corner, goes all the way up the racetrack. Benefield going to pull to the inside and go right on by. So Adam Benefield back to the point.
Benefield, just like we saw last week, back up front. And Christian Light actually got a way better restart than I thought. I thought it was going to be more of a bottled up start. But now you'll see him falling through the field. But Benefield on point here. In front, Kevin West right behind, and then Nathan Paris and the 5 of Brad Peters side by side for position here. A lot of guys duking it out.
Here comes Kevin West on the inside, quick on the short run, pulls right on by the 83 of Benefield. I think Adam knows he's better on the long run. Let Kevin get that lap back out ahead and focus up on what might come as Kevin West runs the fastest lap of the race. If we get back into that long run formation, I think Adam Benefield is playing chess while the rest of these guys are playing checkers.
I think so too. Benefield said it last week. He said he cannot figure out how to make the short run work no matter. It's just how he drives. He's driven that like that in real race cars for all of his racing career. And it's just something that you almost can't unlearn at this point. So we know that he is better on the long run, and already sitting second. I believe he'll be able to hold off some of these other cars. Probably won't fall too far back. And he'll have the beneficiary if we can get a green flag run. Nathan Paris looking to the outside here, but won't quite have it.
Oh, Paris gets the wall a little bit on the front stretch. Joseph Tucker right behind. Paris looks good right now, I will say. We were calling him out earlier for just not having it. Was staying consistent, but just not quite being there where he needs to be to fight and gain on the 31 car. Well, now he's ahead of the 31 by virtue of those pit stops in third, while the 31 runs in fifth. So, hey, maybe he heard what we were talking about as there's a caution on the speedway. Dalton Tucker, oh no!
Oh. That's what can happen when you get stuck in this mid-pack. Oh man. Saw Tucker running up front all day long. Those pit stops got stuck. Matthew Taylor,
wow.
Brian Ruisi have an issue.
We've been talking a lot lately about top-end drivers getting caught in the midfield of the race and getting caught up in things like this, just small accidents that compile. And you see Matt Taylor just got loose, got down into Ruisi, who gets hooked into the outside wall rather hard. Dalton Tucker gets hooked into the outside wall pretty hard. A couple of really big hits in that accident, but it seems like whether it's the Icon Cup Series, the Sarah 1-8 Racing Media National Tour, or now the SimRap Market Series, it seems like we keep talking about top-end drivers getting swept up in mid-pack incidents after they do something to put themselves in the mid-pack. And I know Tucker was just trying to play the pit strategy game and try and come out ahead after a green flag pit cycle, but it didn't cycle out. And so his actions ultimately are why he was in the mid-pack of the race, and now ends up in this crash by virtue of that. And he caught the caution at a bad time, I'll give him that. But if he had stayed out on the racetrack longer to try and catch a yellow or play the strategy that we saw from other drivers, he wouldn't be in this situation. So it's a catch-22, man. You're just trying to run your own race and run your own strategy. Something happens that kind of puts you off sequence, and the caution comes out at the wrong time. Suddenly you're in the mid-pack, and then this kind of thing is apt to happen. It sucks, but that's racing.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, the 21, he's just trying to play the strategy. Pitted a little bit earlier. He could have never known that the caution was going to come out. Thought at the time it looked like a good move, but then it wasn't. And then you get stuck in the mid-pack, and that is always a dangerous game here on restarts, especially at a track like this, it being so short, and these cars just really being able to spread out. You're asking for a caution sometimes. That's the tough part, and Dalton Tucker couldn't have known nothing about it. So it's really tough, especially when you're having such a good day up into a point.
Well, you know who this caution does help?
Ian Brassfield. I know that.
Possibly.
He did get the lucky dog. That's what I know.
I was going to say Christian Light.
Oh, yes. He was looking for that.
Yeah,
Let's
gives
see.
him a chance to
I
get
think he
tires
can
and
go.
fuel.
I think he could go if he wanted to. I think he could go all the way now.
I would say come back in and top up at the end of this caution just to be safe, but otherwise,
sure.
yeah, we're right on the cusp of making it on fuel. So really, if I'm anybody in the field, I think I would take note of where this caution falls and come in and get some fuel. I know even if you're up ahead, I just said, you know, actions take you from the front to the mid-pack, and this is the kind of thing that happens, and that is still true, but I think if you're not quite in a race-winning spot right now, maybe take the gamble. Come in, top up on fuel, make sure you're good to the end, just in case this thing goes green.
Yeah, I think you make it a great point. If you're in that, you know, top 9, top 8, top 9, guys been running up front pretty much all day, no real reason to pit here. I mean, if something comes out later, you most likely will have the track position, and you can maybe race it around. But if you're already in the mid-pack, I mean, why not come down, top off on fuel, maybe get a fresh set of right sides, something like that, to try to maybe, if we go caution-free.
Let's see what happens on this restart. Kevin West out front, Adam Benefiel second. Andon Mendenhall is up here all of a sudden. Don't know how that happened. He was the cause of caution to take us out of that green flag run. Even Jeremy Brown's in the top 10. He was the other car in that caution. So things have changed, certainly. Out front at Iowa Speedway, the complexion of this race has completely been altered. And we're going to send him back green, not knowing what's going to happen here on this restart. 98 laps of 175 completed. That means we've got 77 to go. Green flag back in the air at Iowa. Benefiel and Tucker straight to the bottom. Here comes Mendenhall at the top side. He's in the fourth spot.
Yeah, working around the outside of the 75 of Nathan Paris here. Just a great run on the top line in that Bud Red 37 car. Wow, tries the crossover here. Nathan Paris looking for a crossover here on the outside now.
Paris moves up around the outside lane, tries to get by that 37 car. He will, and gets to the outside now of Joseph Tucker. Down the backstretch into turn 3, looks to make it 3 wide, backs out. Here comes Zach Millett and Brad Peters. Jeremy Brown right behind. Your top 5 is mixing it up right now on this restart. Lap 100 now complete.
Joseph Tucker moves in front of Adam Benefiel. Remember, we talked about it. Benefiel in that 83, better on the long run. Trying not to give up too many spots here on the short run. Right behind them, that's Paris and Mendenhall still going at it. Mendenhall now on the bottom, Paris on the top. We'll have to see what line prevails.
Paris got the wall.
Right behind. Oh, a little bit of contact there. That allows Adam Mendenhall to go by. Now Millett moves to the bottom, and right there, Brad Peters laying in wait.
Paris got the wall out of turn 4. That's going to hold that 75 back. Gets the wall again out of turn number 2. Here comes Zach Millett to go by that 75 car, and it nearly worked that time into 3, but not quite. He'll try it again down in 1 and 2 as Paris nearly gets to the wall again. That was nearly a 3rd corner in a row.
Trying to get everything he can out of this middle line, all the speed on exit that he can absolutely squeeze to try to beat this 31 car, because again, I think unless you're someone like Benefiel, the minute you fall behind that 31, well, it's going to be almost impossible to get back by him.
Here goes the field flashing by in a hurry. First side-by-side is Moultrie and Lodison, it looks like. Never mind, here comes Paris back on the inside of Brad Peters. Peters, the newcomer this evening.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that he's got speed. He's going to mix things up, I think, up front the rest of this season, so long as he runs all these races. He's from that Elite Motorsports stable. I know that because I follow them on Facebook, and they are very active over on social media, Facebook and X, and always post updates about their races. I would imagine the 5 car will be part of that update this evening, along with the 07 and 27 of Brown and Wishon. But Peters, a welcome addition so far. He has really come to life this back half of the race, and who knows, might have something here as this race goes on for the race win.
Yeah, started in 12th, now up 7 from that original start, sitting in 5th, like you said. So that NOS Energy number 5 having a great day out here at Iowa Speedway, trying to hold up there within that top 10, within the top 5 maybe, within the closing 70 laps of this race. Like you said, Paris was able to get by there, but then right back here, Michael Moultrie earlier, he was in the top 5, but got cycled back after those pit stops earlier, now fighting on the inside of the 41 of Matt Lovett.
Working on top 10 here, racing with Lovett for it. They go back and forth a little bit. Moultrie falls back through the corner, and will have to settle for 11th place for now, but is driving through this field. He was alongside of Lodison a couple of laps ago, has moved by Lodison and Sharon, now works on Lovett, trying to recover and get back into this race. And we got to keep an eye on this 29 car as the season goes on, because every once in a while we just see these flashes of brilliance and really good things out of the 29 Ford Mustang Dark Horse as McColgan gets the wall. And look at that. Gets to the outside of Lovett, makes the pass easily. He's got new tires and is coming through the field. Watch out for this 29 if we get into a long run scenario here. He might have enough tire on the rest of these guys to keep moving forward.
Yeah, he's got 11 lap fresher tires on everyone in front of him, so just able to have more grip through the center of the corner. Now working to the outside of that 51, wasn't quite able to do it. Keeps that run, dives down low here into turn 1. 51 on the outside, looking back up front. This is the 39 of Joseph Tucker looking to the lead. He was able to get around Benefill earlier, but now he's on that back bumper of the 01.
Up 110 of 175, Joseph Tucker pulling up on our race leader. Moultrie goes by McColgan. Now that position goes back, so they're racing side by side for the 9th spot, right behind Jeremy Brown, but we stay on board with Joseph Tucker right now. He was in 2/10, within 2/10 of our race leader, now falling back as this run wears on and tires start to fall away. We've seen earlier in these earlier runs, the 39 car is good for a while, and then the tires fall away. And he usually tries the outside lane, tries to find something there, and the tires continue to fall away, and he's sunk big time in that long run we saw earlier. Now, on this short run, able to get up to 2nd place, we'll see if things change, or if he's still going to sink back as this run wears on. We'll find out one way or another.
Yeah, we gotta wonder if he noticed that earlier about the car. Gotta wonder if this run around, he might be trying something a little bit different. Might be trying to save a little bit of tire here on the shorter run, on the earlier end of the run, so that maybe he has more grip late in the run when he knows his car is weaker. Again, won't really know that now. I know he's running about 24.7s right now, but I gotta see where he's running later. Again, Moultrie, 29, continuing, breezing through the field. I wouldn't say breezing. It's still difficult to work through traffic here, even if you've got those fresher tires. Finally works around the 51 of McColgan, and that's the 5 of Brad Peters right in front of him.
Yeah, they both got by the 07 of Jeremy Brown. Oh, Paris has got the wall big time right in front of Zach Millett. While we watch these guys battle, I want to thank our partners with the series, SimWrapMarket.com, Apex Sim Racing, IMB Racewear, Moser Racing, RS Button Boxes, Team Conti Sim Performance. Whoa, that was close between Peters and Moultrie, both going to the inside of Nathan Paris. Also want to thank Track Bar Media, The Button Kicker, Extreme Graphics, and Cyber Edge Hosting. Here comes Peters on Paris. This for 6th.
Yeah, Paris just having issues. He likes the top, and it's working well for him, but he's just trying to get a little much, and it's forced him into some mistakes, and that's lost him positions.
Still riding here with Brad Peters. Moultrie looking to the outside, and he's made some moves in that outside lane earlier in this run. That time, though, it stalls out. And Millet on the inside of Mendenhall.
Millet, we know, yeah, he's fast, running here, trying to break into the 4th position now on the inside of that. Beautiful, I love it, that red Bud number 8, or number 8, it should be the number 8, it's a 37. Millet works around the inside of Mendenhall, now he's solidified here into 4th position, and Michael Moultrie back on the attack on the inside of the number 5.
And Moultrie's going to have the position at the stripe. Peters relents and gives that spot up. Moultrie goes by now for 7th place. I think he's a top 5 lock as this run goes on. He's still got better tires than Paris and Mendenhall. And, I think he'll use those tires and use them nicely as this run goes on. We've still got a little over 50 laps to go. Also got McColgan on the outside here, pounds the outside wall. Matt Lovett on the inside. McColgan trying to hang on to 10th. Lovett wants it back.
Great fight here between these cars. Lovett trying to keep it where he's at, moving through the field. 51 of McColgan gonna have to move it back on the outside, just doesn't have enough grip. Lovett will move up, but man, the 51 trying to get a little bit of speed there out of 4. Not quite able to do it. Now he's going to have to defend from Alfie Sharon Jr. in that 99 car. Just looks like the 51 has lost that grip.
Alfie Sharon pulls up and will move right on by that 51 car of Austin McColgan. McColgan drops down now to 12th spot. How about Casey Knighton this evening? Nearly inside the top 15, was working on Lucas Whitehead. Now he's got a couple of lap cars between himself and Whitehead. Whitehead in that blue and black 53 car on the left side of your frame. And those 2 cars in between are Daniel Wiles and Noah Rainwater, who are fighting to be the first car 1 lap down and would therefore be the lucky dog if we got a caution at any point in time. As we near 50 laps to go, you see the 05 blinking a little bit. That's Rainwater. You know, he doesn't live too far from me, and Spectrum reported that we're in an outage. I wonder if that could be impacting the 05 this evening. Now, Spectrum reports an outage, but we've been broadcasting okay, and I'm certainly going to knock on wood for that. But I wonder if it's maybe widespread in this area and maybe affecting the 05 as this run wears on and this evening gets a little bit later. But Casey Knighton, that car we were talking about, trying to keep moving forward as there's been a change out front. Here we go for 2nd place.
Yeah, Adam Benefield right back around the 39 car on the bottom here. Long run speed, 83. He's got it. We've known that. He's now coming back to show it. Tucker, like we said earlier, just doesn't have the speed in the middle of a run. And we're seeing that here. Now Benefield sets his sights on the 01 of West, only 6/10 back.
Let's ride on board with Benefield. Inside now, 50 laps to go. That was 50 the last time by. Coming up on 4/10 back of that 01 car that has led so many laps tonight. Down to 3/10, Benefield closing in. And this car is so different from generations past, but every once in a while it has that shining moment of racing like one of the older cars. And that time off of turn 4, I saw it a little bit. Benefield gets back on power, the rear end kicks out a little bit, he hangs onto it and just kind of drives out of it. You can't do that usually in one of these next-gen cars, but he did it that last time by. He's really got a feel for this race car this evening.
Yeah, I like, and it's one thing, it works, it's the track as well. You know, Iowa here, these next-gen cars really like to tighten up, and it's sometimes hard to get them to be on the more freer side, allow you to have more working range. But here at Iowa, you run that bottom, you're you're able to find that freeness because the track allows it. And Benefield really showing that here, trying to get everything he can, working to the back of this 01. He's got to run even when he's running the bottom, now within 2/10. Kevin West lane up high. 83's there at the quarter, trying to pull a little side draft. Not quite able to do it. 01 goes all the way up top. 83 all the way down low, side by side through the center. Who's going to have it? Benefield. But 01 has a huge run down here, passes straight away into turn 1.
And down to turns 1 and 2, you see West trying to use the inside lane. It's just not going to work. Covering it up is Benefield. He's going to pull away with the race lead and dive down to the inside of, who is that? Dalton Tucker, actually. Wow.
That's what I was about to say. It shows you what can happen sometimes when you get off cycle and when things don't go your way, like we saw for Tucker. Pitted, had that untimely caution, and then got pushed back in the mid-pack and was involved in an incident. Now goes a lap down when he was running second.
And then there's this guy, Zach Millett, just pulled back into third place. Oh my gosh, he is inevitable. It just, without fail, top 3, top 3, top 3, top 3, top 3.
I swear we talk to him every week.
I think we have.
I think we have since Bristol.
Yeah, I think the one race he finished outside the top 3 was Daytona.
Yep.
And since then, it's been...
I still think he's finished in the top 10.
Yeah, and it was the win at Bristol. It was second place at Coda. It was the win at... Oh, where was it? It was in between Coda and Charlotte.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, thank you. The win at Las Vegas. Then second place last week at Charlotte. He's just bouncing between 1-2, 1-2, but getting these top 3s, it's incredible what he's been able to do as he runs here up on Dalton Tucker. And we'll go by that lap car now. He's inevitable. Absolutely just insane. Points leader, putting more points on second place, Nathan Paris. It's incredible. But we did just have a pit stop from Michael Moultrie. Here he is in the pit lane now. He'll pull away and get back onto the racetrack. We anticipate the leaders having to pit one more time. Moultrie does it here with 40 to go.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's about looking like what he was scheduling earlier. Again, he did have better tires than a lot of these leaders, so I'm surprised to see him pit so early. I think he could have ran it a lot longer. The only reason I can think he pitted so early was because he was using even more earlier, trying to get around guys with that tire advantage.
Well, I think he's just trying to get the undercut. Trying to put time on these guys so that he doesn't have to defend it later or work on it later. So he's going to hope that he's able to put enough time on other slower cars that he doesn't have to fight with them later in this race as our leaders stay out.
Yeah, no one else of the lead pack has come in here to the pits. I think Austin Colgan just came in. He's one of the only ones. Everyone else still out on the racetrack. Well, there's a 51. He's definitely not in yet. I saw him moving around on the charts.
Well, Colgan's still on the racetrack. Might have slid back a little bit as Casey Knighton goes by. Ian Brasfield works on Whitehead. Will make that pass. Then you've got Andon Mendenhall and Joseph Tucker. Tucker was so good earlier in this run, but is falling back as this run goes on. Mendenhall looks to go by. That's for fourth.
Matt Cherry coming to pit road this time.
There's
He's upset over the radio.
This is a really good little fight.
Yeah, I like this. Tucker, again, like you said, just doesn't have the pace. Oh, Mendenhall slams the Geico restart zone wall. Loses that advantage he had there on the 39 car. 39 would have liked to have seen that. He'll hold into fourth for now, but again, just we're seeing it. He's just not able to hold it here on the long run.
These guys both using the top of the racetrack now. Mendenhall way up high that time in 3 and 4. Going to lose the run off the corner. Tucker gets it and will pull right back away. Matt Sherry down to 3 laps down now. Here he is exiting the pit lane. So big problems for the 45 car this evening. It's been a rough night for him. Meanwhile, Sean Lodison's going to come on in. And it's a very empty pit lane. You got to wonder if these guys are saving fuel at this point. I don't think so, but you would have thought they would have pitted by now.
Yeah, we saw it go green just past, I think it was just past lap 100. And I think you could make it, but I don't know. I think the tire fall off is too great. I mean, on a run like this, we see a lot of these guys running these lines. Like Benefield, the leader, is running a 25.4 right now. That's more than a second off of a lap with fresh tires. So if you pitted right now and you were running within this top 10, top 6, you could make that gap all the way back from having guys that might stay out instead.
Saw there Ian Brasfield pitting. Oh, here's Jeremy Brown moving on by Nathan Paris as this run goes on. Paris slowing down. Another car in the pit lane. Who is that? That is... Well, anyway. Cars in the pits. Cars not in the pits. We've got 30 laps or so until this thing comes down to a precipice.
I see Casey Knighton in the pits in that 28 car you were talking about earlier. He's in pit lane.
And here comes Moultrie in that 29 car. So he's up to Paris to try and get himself unlapped. In case a caution comes out, this is important.
So he needs to do that quickly. That's what got him stuck last time.
Evan West is pitting. This should bring a lot of the leaders in. This right here.
It's good. Benefield, slow on the bottom, but nope, not pitting. Trying to work around these lap cars, and that's another thing. Trying to work around lap cars and letting guys that have pitted come work around you.
Here comes Millett.
So, Millett in. Benefield still out on track. I imagine he has to pit this time by. Yep, Benefield over the radio, coming into the pits. 41 Matt Lovett coming in.
Has to cover up the undercut from drivers he was racing around. Will come on in and make his pit stop. And this should bring in guys like Joseph Tucker and in Mendenhall. There's Mendenhall pitting. There's Nathan Paris. You see Matt Lovett coming in. This is going to bring just about everybody else in. Tucker stays out a lap. But you can't stay out much longer. You really can't. This is 2-3 laps since the first couple of cars around you pitted. You've got to make your way out of pit lane or you're going to be swallowed up. And here you go. Tucker, I think, he's going to stay out.
Yeah, runs that high arc through 3 and 4, not coming down to the pit lane. I guess he's trying to run something different. I mean, the 39 by this point has to know that he doesn't think he can win just with that, unless with a late race caution, just with the speed he has. So why not run long? Why not try to wait for that caution? I don't think it's a terrible move. I mean, he's not sitting he's sitting 13th in points. So it's risky in terms of the amount of points he has because he could lose a lot if this doesn't go his way. But if it does, I mean, it could be real nice and he can move back into that top 12.
Tell you why not to is because he's good on the short run, not on the long run. Moultrie was good on the short run, and here he is. He's used his tires to his advantage. Inside of 30 to go, and he is well clear of Zach Millett. Yes, Millett's going to come back to him. I expect that. But he's got 5 seconds nearly back to Zach Millett. 4.5 to 5 seconds to that 31 car. I don't know where he's going to cycle out in terms of Adam Benefield. Actually, ahead of Adam Benefield by quite a bit because Millett's ahead of Benefield. So it's Michael Moultrie, then Zach Millett, Kevin West, Brad Peters, Adam Benefield, the order right now.
I wonder if he can hold it. I really do.
And part of this, I'm sorry to interrupt, I just noticed 2 tire stops for Moultrie, Millett, and West.
Wow. So we got to see if that's going to hang on here. Moultrie currently running 24.8s. Meanwhile, Benefield running 24.3s. So he is 0.5 faster right now. But he is almost 7 seconds back. 6-7 seconds back from what will be your leader of Michael Moultrie.
So he should get there eventually. But how close will it be to the end of the race, and how good will those tires be when he gets there?
Yeah, only time is going to tell for that. You also got to think that the 29 is going to have significant fall off as well, only with those 2 tires. So with under 25 to go, I think it's a great call by the 29 car no matter what.
And if a caution comes out at some point, once this cycle's out, man, Moultrie just comes in, gets another set of tires, goes back out there, should be out ahead. This is a really, really good call. I've loved the short pit all night long. I'm surprised more drivers didn't try it. I'm really surprised Tucker didn't try it.
Yeah. One of the only ones to come and pit early.
And here comes
we
Tucker.
saw him really pit. Yeah, you talked about it. He stayed out, realized he probably couldn't stay out there any longer than he had already had. So coming into the pit lane now to get those what is probably the last set of tires.
We'll see. Does he do 2 or does he do 4? Looks like 4.
Yeah.
If you're going to stay out this long, you may as well do 2 and try and save a little bit of time, but he'll go for 4 regardless, and that's going to drop him big time. He's going to be way down the order.
Yeah, 4 fresh ones for the 39 right now. It looks like he's sitting about 22nd. He'll blend out in front of the 12 of Daniel Cardenas.
This might be
big
a caution
contact
into Paris.
Is that Lodison?
That was Lodison in the middle between Brassfield and Paris. That was nearly a crash.
That was very close.
Cullen Johnston gets passed up by Adam Benefield.
Yeah, that was all 4 position right there of that scuffle that we saw.
And we're still waiting on a handful of cars to pit. Christian Light, Quentin Lee, Richard Lanning. And remember, Light is one of the few cars that might be good on fuel. In fact, these top 3 actually might be. So they could put a wrench in things. Light, Lanning, and Lee. Oh man, 3 L's. That's a tongue twister. Light, Lanning, Lee. Light, Lanning, Lee. Light, Lanning, Lee. Say that 5 times fast.
I don't even want to. You've got so many different strategies out here. Benefield working on the inside of Kevin West right now. He was in front of him earlier before the pit stop. He's going to try to make it work now. Again, looking along here with those 2. So again, so many different strategies. Kevin West on 2 tires. Benefield, he's on 4 tires. Millett and Moultrie now that are ahead of Benefield also on 2 tires. And the top 3 all have stayed out, might be able to make it on fuel. So Adam Benefield really has to use the strength of those tires because he's only got 16 more laps to get to the front. And he's 4 seconds back.
I'm surprised to see Zach Millett catch the 29 car this early, but he has caught and passed Michael Moultrie. And that's going to be 16 laps to go now. But they've still got to catch and pass Light, Lanning, and Lee, and they will. But they've still got to do it, and this could present a couple of issues. This could slow them down, and here comes Benefield. Oh boy, we're in for something. We're in for a treat right here. We don't know what's going to happen.
Oh my gosh! Oh! 83 going to try to take it to the middle. Quentin Lee, really old tires, and 29 car. Michael Moultrie on 2 tires. Benefield makes it a 2 for 1 through the center of 3 and 4. He's now into 4th. Millett, again, 2 right side tires, so Benefield is faster. Just has to be patient here.
I think a lot like last week, Benefield's going to use long run pace and go by the 31 car and end up making this a 1-2 for those 2. With likely Benefield out front and Millett in second. That's what I think is going to happen. Let's see what actually happens here as they start to do some battle down to the inside of 1 and 2. They've still got to go by 2 more cars and some more lap traffic. Millett down low, landing up top. That leaves the door open for Benefield through the middle here. Side by side they go now. This is for the race win.
He made it work once, 2 laps ago. He's going to make it work here, now working to the outside, and that's Christian Light. Right in front of him, down on the bottom. That's your leader right now. Benefield blocked by the 96, but still Millett doesn't have enough grip to hold it down. 83 to the bottom, back out front. Benefield back to the lead.
Going for back-to-back wins, surges out to the race lead. 12 laps to go, that time by the flag stand. This could be the beginning of something really, really big for Adam Benefiel. He's got a lot of points to try and make up on Zach Millett for the point standings, but as long as he can qualify for the playoffs with a couple of wins to boot, oh boy, this could be the beginning of a championship run.
Man, just so awesome to watch. Didn't have great luck through the first 4 races, but last week absolutely turned it on because we know that Benefiel is a good driver. Oh my goodness, caution. Oh man, that's the last thing Benefiel wanted. A short run to the end.
See one car entering the pit lane. Wonder if maybe it was this 51 of Austin McColgan that's now headed down the pits. Take a look back at it. Oh, there we go, Russell Black.
It looked like he was the car, came down to pit road, just had an incident there up in turn 4.
Oh boy, this is going to be Russell Black getting passed up by some faster cars here.
It's like Alfie Sharon Jr.
And here comes Nathan Paris. Watch this 75 car as they race out of turn number 3. Watch right here. Paris dives to the inside, gets free, tries to catch it, and slides up and turns the 64 car. Hits him on the exit as well. And that is our latest caution.
And that thing just snapped loose right here.
Moultrie's going to stay out. Benefiel comes in.
Millett as well.
Kevin West is in the pit lane. Who exits first?
Oh my gosh, it's going to be Millett.
Wow, Millett, is that 2 tires again? Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness.
That track position, man.
I wonder if he put on left sides. Wow.
Millett over Benefiel, over West, over Light. So that works out for Christian Light, by the way. His gamble paid off.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Benefiel as well. He also put on 2 tires as well as West. Yeah, Christian Light now in 7th. Quentin Lee in 10th. Richard Lanning in 11th. So that absolutely worked out for them.
It was right sides for Millett again. He's going to have real old left sides. I don't know. I mean, the ball, I think, is in Adam Benefiel's court once again.
Yeah. I'd rather be on the attack than on the defense here.
You know who else stayed out?
Joseph Tucker.
Joseph Tucker stayed out.
I was just looking for him. I was like, where is he in the running order right now? And he's staying out.
He could be a lot of fun to watch on this restart. He's going to restart second to Moultrie.
Yeah, I think still with 14 lap old tires compared to what these new guys have, I don't think it's going to last long.
Dylan Cardini's going to restart up here. This is going to be a very, very interesting restart.
Yeah, when we come to it, we should have, I believe, 5 laps to go. So there's not going to be any saving by any of these drivers.
And we
we could see those green-white checkers here. I hope not, but we very well could.
I was just going to say, we know the age-old adage, cautions breed cautions.
Yeah. Well, and with these guys not saving, they can go as aggressive as they want here. And that aggression can always lead to mishaps.
This is going to line us up with about 5 laps to go, as you said. Oh boy. All it takes is one slipped tire on a restart to get somebody sideways and bring out a caution with who knows what can happen after getting sideways. It could be a big crash, could be a self-spin, could be any number of things. And that would put us into overtime immediately. We've got 3 attempts at it. I really hope I'm not describing the end of this race right now.
Look, I don't know what we're going to see here because I mean, we saw it earlier with different strategy, but Moultrie stays out 35 lap old tires. He's only got right sides. Then Joseph Tucker, 16 laps old. He's got 4. And then, what is it? Daniel Cardenas out there, 22 lap old tires. He's got 4 as well. So 3 guys out here with different age ranging tires. And then right behind them, Kevin West, Adam Benefiel, Zach Millett. Those 3 strongest drivers of tonight. Who can navigate around these cars faster that have these old tires? I think that's going to be I think that's going to define who's going to win this race.
We'll have to wait and see. It'll be exactly 5 laps to go for Moultrie, Tucker, Cardenas, and Millett, your top 4. Then Adam Benefiel, Kevin West, Christian Light, and Andon Mendenhall. That's your top 8. Alfie Sharon Jr. trying to get the jump on the restart. There goes Tucker. I think he jumped it, but green flag is back in the air. Could that be a penalty for the 39 car of Tucker? He's going to have the race lead here off the corner. And here comes Millett on his back bumper. Millett trying to race up there and get a 3rd win this season. Spinning is Kevin West.
He's going to save it, I think. Absolutely drifting into turn 4.
There it is.
The wall. Caution's out.
117 laps led. And this could be how it ends. I can only imagine the frustration right now.
Yeah, and I think he got loose on its own. Again, I want to go back and look just because we didn't quite see. He just snapped loose. But I want to make sure there was no contact before. Again, it's the 01 car. Yeah, I think he just gets loose, dives it in here into turn 3. Just brings in too much speed. Almost saves it here. And then, just can't quite have it. Oh, man. Joseph Tucker right now talking to race control about if that's going to be a penalty or not. Looking along here with Kevin West. Yeah, just sends it into turn 3. Has too much speed. Almost catches it here, but then throttles up a little bit too early. That's such a shame.
You see all the damage. This is going to be a race-ending incident for Kevin West. He might be able to get back out there, but he's going to be nursing a severely injured race car.
Yeah, and it's so tough because, again, he ran well last week at Charlotte, dipped out of the race with connection issues. He was looking to have an excellent points day here at Iowa, ran up front in the top 5 all day long, and on lap 171, sends it in a little too hard into turn 3. Those are the hardest. Those are the hardest, Andrew. Driver errors where it's only your fault are the hardest to take as a driver.
Hardest to accept.
Joseph Tucker will be given EOL for a jumped start.
It looked like it. Yeah, that makes sense.
He said he heard the who was it? Who was leading?
Moultrie.
It was Moultrie. He said he heard their throttle snap. So he said he heard Moultrie get on the gas, but he accepted obviously race control's decision.
That could be a diabolical way to play a restart. Stab the throttle, wait a second, go after. That could be diabolical. Oh my gosh.
It could.
Well, this is going to send us to overtime.
Hey, just like we said.
Yeah, exactly like we said. There you see 2 laps, a green lap and a white lap. This is how overtime works. A green lap, a white lap, then checkers end it. If the green lap is completed, the race is official no matter what happens on the white lap. If the green lap is not completed, we'll restart again as long as we have attempts remaining. After all attempts are used, if there's a caution during the green lap, that caution can end the race. We'll talk more about overtime rules as we get closer to this restart, but once again, want to recap what's coming up for us at Pit Stop TV before we shut this thing down this evening. Tomorrow night, the Fall Brawl 250, the Simrat Market Fall Brawl 250, keeping things in the Simrat Market world. From the Simrat Market series here on a Wednesday evening to the Simrat Market Fall Brawl tomorrow night at Five Flags Speedway. It'll be a lot of fun. You do not want to miss this super late model race at Five Flags Speedway. Make sure to tune in. Guys, if you're watching this back as a driver here in the Simrat Market series, I really do urge you to tune in for this race tomorrow night. Going to be a lot of fun. It's the championship event for the 1/8 Racing Media National Tour, which is a tour of the biggest late model races in the country, or at least replicated on iRacing anyways. We've run the Virginia Triple Crown. We've run the Milwaukee Father's Day Special. We've run the spring races at Hickory. We've run a whole lot of stuff. The Oxford 250, the Slinger Nationals. The list goes on. Then Tuesday, December 3rd, after a Thanksgiving break, we go racing at Dover Motor Speedway for the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. And then it's Atlanta, Old Atlanta Motor Speedway, Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Simrat Market Series here when we go back racing in 2 weeks on December 4th. And Scott, there are so many ways to keep in touch.
There are so many ways. You can check us out at pitstoptv.com, our Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X. You'll catch us all there with awesome racing action as we prepare for the first green-white checkered of the night here for race number 6 for the Simrat Market Series Season 2.
Overtime rules, bottom right of your screen. Take them in. Get ready. Here we go. Green flag in the restart zone. We're off and away with our first green-white checkered. And in Mendenhall, going to try the outside here of Zach Millett. Watch this 37 car. Adam Benefield stuck on the bottom side of Quentin Lee, Dylan Cardenas, and caution. Edward Jurgen, oh my gosh, the bad season continues.
Man, he had it so clean today. Oh man. You can hear him over the radio, he is frustrated. Oh my goodness. I wonder, was that Tucker or Rainwater?
That wasn't a great look at it. We'll get a look
I think
here.
it was Tucker. Tucker said, and I quote over the radio, he magically slowed down 20 miles an hour.
Let's get a look here.
Race control calls the restart all clear. Looking along here with Edward Jurgen in that 92. Oh, just a big stack up right there. That doesn't cause it. Jurgen's okay through there. That's 74 of Christopher Cash on the inside. Oh, it looks like Jurgen just gets loose. Oh, Matt Cherry.
Tucker and Rainwater near each other. Let's see what happened between those two.
I think they were talking about the incident there and went to the bottom.
Rainwater down low. Joseph Tucker underneath him.
Oh, wow. That was a close call for Rainwater.
For all three of those drivers, I'm not really sure.
I think they were talking about Jurgen. I'm not really sure.
Not really sure what's going on.
I'll tell you one thing that's going on. I think Adam Benefield's very happy about that caution. He just cannot make it through some of these cars. He made it around Daniel Cardenas, but Quentin Lee and Michael Moultrie are significantly slower than him, and were right in his way on that first green-white checkered attempt. So if he wants any fight here at the win, he has got to, within the first corner, make it by Moultrie and Quentin Lee.
This is going to be an interesting second green-white checkered attempt. The order out front is Zach Millett, Andon Mendenhall, Michael Moultrie, Quentin Lee, Adam Benefield, Dylan Cardenas in the 12, then Nathan Paris and Alfie Sharon Jr., then Christian Light and Matt Lovett. That's your top 10. And just about everybody staying out under this yellow. There is one taker, and that is one Kevin West, trying to get that car repaired. I'll tell you what, the right front is pointing significantly more in the correct direction than it was before.
Yeah, the car will be driving better. He's going to bring it back to pit road, try to get some more damage repair here, and just finish it out on the lead lap. Which he's not.
He's one lap down and mired behind Austin McColgan, Daniel Wiles, Jared Rashawn, Russell Black, Matt Cherry, and Edward Jurgen, all other lap down cars.
I really feel for him. I really do.
Cars out of this race include Brady Cox, Matthew Montgomery, and Christopher Tate. Colin Terrell parked it about 24 laps ago. You see Colin Terrell's machine. Not sure what happened to the 20 car. If I had to guess, based on the right side damage, I'd say he could have impacted the barrels at the end of the pit road wall. That's usually what I see when I see a car with nothing but severe door damage. But here we go, overtime rules once again. Let's go back over them. We get 2 laps, a green lap and a white lap. If the green lap is completed, the restart is official. That's what did not happen last time. Last time, we got a caution on the green lap. Therefore, we're restarting again. So keep those overtime rules in mind here as we go deeper into SimRap Market Series overtime. Zach Millett, Andon Mendenhall out front. Michael Moultrie, Quentin Lee. A career day maybe for that 2 car. He runs 4th. Adam Benefield, Dylan Cardenas, your top 6. Green flag on the way. And the green flag is back out. Green-white checker number 2, Andon Mendenhall, work on the top side of the racetrack. No caution yet through turn 2. We're going to dive down to turns 3 and 4. Can Zach Millett get back to the stripe? 1 car outside into the wall. I think that was Cardenas, but the white flag is out. This restart is official.
83 has a problem off of turn 4, falls back behind Cardenas. There's nothing he can do now. It's all between Mendenhall and Millett up here in the front. Back there, fighting through 3rd through 6th. They're side by side, but the battle is up front, and there isn't one. Zach Millett out there. He's going to take it.
Zach Millett's going to win at Iowa Speedway, the 3rd win on the season for Car 31, and he runs the fastest lap of the race to do it.
Oh, we haven't seen anyone run a lap like that all night long.
Unbelievable. The perfect lap to win the 3rd race of the season for this guy. And he is going to extend that points lead even more as a couple of cars make some contact and spin, all trying to congratulate this guy, Zach Millett.
Yeah, he fought really hard. I mean, what happened for him earlier was he made it through those cars that were on older tires. Benefield couldn't, and he got stuck behind him with each restart.
Mired in all the smoke there is the victorious number 31 car. 3rd time on the season, and we've run exactly 2 short track races so far. He's got a victory lane in both.
Yeah, 3rd time, like you said. I mean, we've talked about it each week, the impressiveness and the dominance of Zach Millett, and today he wasn't the best all day long. Kevin West was out there for a long time. Benefield was out there for a long time. But when it came to the end with how the cautions fell, Millett found a way.
See his teammate Alfie Sharon Jr. sharing in the victory here. Alfie Sharon with a P8. That's a strong day for him. When he really needed to get something rolling in the right direction, that is a very strong day for Alfie Sharon Jr. As you see, Zach Millett parks it on the front stretch after a whole bunch of burnouts, a whole bunch of donuts. And that will do it for on-track action this evening. We'll go down your unofficial race results after it's all said and done here. With the race win, it's Zach Millett and Mendenhall in the second spot. Third place goes to Quentin Lee. That is, as I said earlier, potentially a career day for Quentin Lee, a big-time finish for him. He's been in the top 10 in the standings, just trying to hang on with consistency. That's going to help him a ton. Nathan Paris with a fourth place, also going to pick up a whole bunch of points. Adam Benefiel should move up in the standings. He finishes fifth. Michael Moultrie sixth. Dylan Cardenia seventh. Alfie Sharon Jr. 8th, Christian Light with a solid 9th place finish, and Jeremy Brown continues his string of consistent finishes. He finishes 10th.
89 car back and forth, lead lap down all day long, comes home 11th. Lucas Whitehead, first race here this season, finishes in the top 15 with a P12. In 13th, that's a 20 of Sean Lodison. He's had some struggles here recently, but gets a top 15. Brad Peters, we saw him fighting in the top 5 earlier, couldn't quite keep it in the top 10, but still a strong showing for him and his Elite Motorsports team. He ends up 14th. In 15th, that's a 28 of Casey Knighton, started dead last in the field. Great effort for him. Joseph Tucker in the 39 EOL there near the end finishes 16th. 17th, that's the 05 of Rainwater. Cullen Johnston finishes 18th. Matt Lovett, the 41, finishes 19th. And Brandon Fronapple brings it up home in 20th.
Finishing 21st position, it's going to be car number 21, matching his car number and position, but a rough day at the office for Dalton Tucker. Had a great run going, got caught off with a pit stop that ended up putting him a lap down in the middle of the field, and just got caught up on a restart in a crash that ruined his day ultimately. Cody Ellis in the 22nd spot, Richard Landing 23rd. 24th goes to Jared Wishon, the first car one lap down, ahead of a whole bunch of lap down cars. Austin McColgan, Russell Black, Edward Jurgen, Daniel Wiles, Matt Cherry, and Kevin West, your top 30.
Yeah, back in 31st, that's a 44 of Matthew Taylor, 2 laps down. Brian Ruisi, 32nd, 3 laps down. Christopher Cash, saw him involved. Incident, lap number 2, 5 laps down. Then Colin Terrell disconnected later on in the 20 car, 27 laps down. Christopher Tate, Matthew Montgomery, Brady Cox, all the way back there. Guys that fell out of this race early. Oh, what a race. 7 cautions for 36 laps total, 12 lead changes. That was awesome, Andrew. Great race from Iowa.
A really solid race here from the state of so much corn, as it's known. But let's talk to our race winner this evening, Zach Millett, with a 3rd win now on the season. It seems like we're talking to you every single week, because we have been. Aside from Daytona, we have talked to you in the top 3 every single week, and now you're alternating 1st and 2nd place finishes. You're back to a 1st place finish this evening. You're 3rd on the season, but how did you get it done here in the late running?
Man, Andrew, I don't know, man. It was so hairy out there, especially on new tires. And I mean, I was definitely not the fastest car tonight. I mean, you know, between Adam and West, I mean, those guys are just so much faster. Felt good on the long run. I don't think I had anything for Adam on his long run. He just had it right down perfect. But yeah, those cautions just kind of felt some weird times. And I can't believe I beat Adam off pit road. That was just a super lucky deal. And it hooked up for once, you know. After all my horrible pitting tonight, I pretty much tried to throw it away every chance. But yeah, I was lucky that I beat him out that time.
Well, this is going to extend a nearly 200-point lead already and put you solidly in 1st place, potentially for the rest of the regular season. I mean, are you already thinking about the playoffs? Because you're already in a really solid spot.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with the playoff stuff, you just kind of have to make it to the playoffs since you're reset anyway. But I mean, I think we're doing good in that aspect so far. If we can lock our playoff berth, I don't know if we can lock that in with a win or not, but if we can do it by points, that's even better. And I think we're on the right track.
You are on the right track to lock in rather early by points. An incredible run for you so far this season. Is there another track that you feel like you might have a win at? Because clearly, it's, like I said, it's a win one week, a 2nd place the next, back to a win, back to 2nd place, back to a win. What's next for you? What racetrack do you feel like you have race winning capability?
Oh man, I don't know. It's such a good schedule. I mean, Old Atlanta's awesome. I mean, that's definitely a tire saving deal. New Hampshire's always fun. You know, a pretty flat, short track. It's going to be crazy. Darlington, I love Darlington. I love Pocono, love Richmond. I mean, that's a perfect schedule, man. Shout out to the SWM No Limit Racing guys. I mean, they really have their stuff together. It's an awesome league to be a part of. I'm happy to be here. I got to give a shout out to Chris Goins, my spotter. He definitely had my back this race, and man, we had a new team tonight. We had some new team members join us. It was myself, Andon Mendenhall, Matt Taylor, and Alfie. So it's gonna be a good team going forward, man. I'm pumped.
Well, it's good to talk to you, Zach. Congratulations once again, and it sounds like a 1-2 for the new team then.
Heck yeah, man, pretty good start.
Good way to get things rolling with a new teammate. That's Zach Millett, and you'll be talking to Andon Mendenhall now in that fold, in that new team fold. That's pretty incredible for Andon Mendenhall to come out here and go second place.
Yeah, Andon Mendenhall in that 37 car. First of all, awesome paint scheme. Tell me a little bit about that. I know you probably know as you're running the paint scheme that Dale's running that this weekend. Tell me why you wanted to run it here today.
I just like the scheme, and I figured I'd run it since it was coming back this weekend.
Well, there you go. And you don't know it, but you and me have actually gotten to race before on iRacing many times in officials, and I've always loved how you drive and the pedigree of your ability here, and you got to show it here tonight. A second place finish at Iowa. How does it feel after such a hard day from the back to the front?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I knew starting 23rd that it was going to be a strategy race if I was going to have a shot, and that's what I did. First stop, got a speeding penalty, and then after that, seen everybody was taking 2 tires, and that's what I stuck with. Ended up paying off.
Yeah, saw you there near the end. Again, you had those troubles in the back, but once you got up to the front with those cautions, what was going through your head on those final 2 restarts as we had those green-white checkers? What did you need to give the fight to Zach Millett?
I just needed a little more bite through the corners. It was a little skippy over the bumps in 1 and 2, and thought I had a shot right there in 1 and 2, but it wasn't that. It wasn't it.
Well, I know you're absolutely excited. I know you wanted to win, but a second place finish, I know you're excited about that because last week at Charlotte, you had a rough go there. You were 8th in points before Charlotte. After that, you're now sitting 15th. I can't say solidly, but I think this finish should bump you back into that top 12. What do you need to continue on the season to keep in that top 12?
Just consistently top 10 runs. It's hard, but I mean, it's just what's got to be done.
Well, we wish for the best for you. Congratulations, Andon, on second place tonight.
Thank you.
Well, you talked about it, Andrew. A career day here for Quentin Lee. He's been in the top 12 all season long. He's been finding it there, but a third place today.
A third place for Quentin Lee. We're finally talking to the driver of the 2 car this evening. It's been consistent finish after consistent finish to keep him up top of, well, near the top of the point standings anyways, in that top 12 and in playoff contention. Quentin, you go third place this evening. How in the world did you muscle your way to that third place finish?
I have no clue. I just kept picking them off the restarts, and next thing you know, I get another caution, and there we were restarting 4th on the last one, and just got by Moultrie and just couldn't do anything with the top 2.
Do you feel like if there was one more green-white checkered, you could have picked off one or maybe both of them?
I don't know. They were both super quick, and I mean, Zach Millett, I don't know how many, I think that's his 3rd or 4th one of the year, but they were quick, so I'm pretty happy with the P3.
And this is only going to bolster a really strong season for you so far. I mean, playoffs certainly have to be in the conversation for you and your team, and every time you come to the racetrack, it's got to be on your mind. Are you thinking about that yet? Are you getting ready for the playoffs, or is it just trying to take one race at a time?
Just trying to take one race at a time and get the points I need to make the playoffs. You know, I'd like to have a bigger cushion on the cut line, but I mean, a run like today was a pretty good booster.
Well, it's good to talk to you, Quentin. Congratulations. A very solid day for that Dale's Custom Diecast Chevrolet. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Thank you.
That's Quentin Lee for the first time here on Pit Stop TV talking to that driver. It has been a good time watching him get better and better. And finally now a top 3 for him. A really solid effort out of that number 2 crew. But Scott, that wraps things up here from Iowa Speedway. Final words?
Yeah, I mean, excellent product. I think, again, we saw it well after the past 2 weeks. Just Not too many cautions. I think, drivers fighting out there hard, but I think we saw a lot of great green flag action here tonight. And as much as sometimes we might not want it, those green-white checkered finishes are usually always extremely exciting. I thought it was a great product to hear again, but biggest takeaway, I think, like you said, Adam Benefiel and Zach Millett are going to be two of those title contenders as we go later on.
Looking at the schedule, next up we head out to Atlanta Motor Speedway for 217 laps, it sounds like, at least based on what we were handed for the season material. That's December 4th, so in 2 weeks' time we go back racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway on the old configuration there, the legacy configuration. Should be a lot of fun. Next up for us here, though, at Pit Stop TV, we head out to Five Flags Speedway for November 21st. That's tomorrow night for the 1-8 Racing Media National Tour for the Sim Auto Racing Association. Also should be a whole bunch of fun. Make sure to tune in with us at Pit Stop TV for all these upcoming broadcasts and check out our social media, Scott.
Yeah, you check us out, pitstoptv.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X. You'll find it all there with the 1-8 Racing Media National Tour and the SARA Series, the Butt Kicker Cup Series, and, of course, the SimRap Market Series here with No Limit Racing. Before we see you again, happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely, a happy Thanksgiving and a very safe week. Hopefully, if you partake in Black Friday and all that shopping, be safe. It can be crazy out there. So just have a safe Thanksgiving week next week, and hopefully we will see you on December 4th when we go back racing with the SimRap Market Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Should be a lot of fun. Want to give a big shout out to our partners with the series, of course, SimRap Market, Apex Sim Racing, IMB Racewear, Moza Racing, RS Button Boxes, Team Conti Sim Performance, Track Bar Media, The Butt Kicker, Extreme Graphics, and Cyber Edge Hosting. And a big thank you to our partners here at the channel, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Design. That'll finally do it for us this evening from Iowa Speedway. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you all next time here at Pit Stop TV.
A new wave has formed for Season 2, an epic tour that ends with a new legacy. The OGs are back, ready to defend their legacy, while fresh meat joins the competition, eager to make their mark. Who is willing to battle door to door and conquer 2024? Buckle up, because the season of a lifetime is among us.
Here we go. Who's going to get the better restart?